Welcome to another episode of Genuine. I'm graced by the presence of Miss Maggie.
Hello, I'm Maggie. You know.
Maggie is on the Genuine team.
Yes, I am.
You were also one of the original Genuine sisters in middle school.
I was, back in the day.
Shout out.
Yes.
And Maggie, you're in high school. How old are you?
17.
17.
Yes, like old.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, you're so old. Goodness, Grandma. We are giggly just because I think that's just what happens when
you're on camera, like you have a mic in front of you, you're like, hi.
Well, let me warn everybody who's listening right now. Maggie has a microphone, and I've already witnessed her just twirling it and doing, like, she's going to end up, she's going to end up scratching it. I know you're going to hear a scratchy sound. We're going to do our best to remind Maggie to control the microphone.
I also just got new nails yesterday, so if you hear, like, I don't know if that microphone's picking that up. Some random tapping noises.
Our poor listeners, we have to be respectful.
Sorry, listeners.
No crazy sounds.
Shout out for all those watching.
So we're gonna talk about it today.
Yes.
We're talking about mental health.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's a scary one, my friends.
Ooh, all right. So you want to be here today because why?
Well, my hands are clammy. I'm getting nervous.
Oh.
I don't know. There's, like, a lot of stigma surrounding mental health. Up until recently, like, I guess recently, the past couple years or so, everyone's just like, mental health, like, you're crazy. That's what mental health seems like. You're, like, in an asylum. That's what mental health is. Like, if you have mental health issues, you're not doing well. And mentally, no, that's what it means. Like, you have bad mental health. But on the other side of things, you see people every day that, like, are struggling with mental health issues, like myself. Like, the most outgoing, positive people you meet are most likely the ones, this isn't always true, but most likely the ones struggling with something, and that's what I've noticed with, like, the friends I've been with. So, like, kind of, for the people that are listening in the future, I don't even know when this releases, but, just kind of talking about that and trying to end that stigma around it, because it's unfortunate that there is such a stigma around it.
No, absolutely, I agree. I feel like it should be totally normalized.
Yes.
And I vote therapy for everybody.
Oh, I wish everyone would go to therapy. I think our society would be so much better if everyone went to therapy. I love therapy.
No, it's really true. All right, so take us back here. Because obviously you've mentioned mental health has been part of your life.
Yes.
So take us back. When did this start? Because, I mean, you're really old at 17.
I am really old. I'm ancient.
Yeah, so because you're so old, I want to go back to the beginning, Maggie.
Back to the olden days?
Yes.
I just hit this against my face, so you probably heard that. So I was, like, always uptight as an elementary school. Not, like, annoying, but, like, about my grades. And it wasn't because of my parents. It's just who I was, because I was in, like, the AIG program from kindergarten, so I was always in the accelerated classes, and it wasn't my parents or school, but I think the idea of being in this accelerated program put all this pressure on me, and then caused me to put pressure on myself as a little kid. And so I'd go through elementary school, like, uptight at my grades, and, like, everyone's like, oh, it's your parents causing it. I'm like, no, like, my parents, I came home with, like, and this is elementary school, it was, like, a math is fun worksheet, and I got, like, a 70 on it, and I went upstairs and hid in my hamper. This happened on so many occasions.
Your hamper?
I would go up from the bus stop, fly in my room, and my mom was like, are you home? Like, where are you? And you could, like, hear, like, little whimpering from up in my room, like, in my hamper, underneath my clothes, because I was so scared I was going to get in trouble. My mom was like, no, like, you're 7. Like, what are you supposed to do with this? Like, it doesn't matter what your grades when you're 7, and it shouldn't ever be that important. And I always thought I was going to get in so much trouble. My parents kind of thought it was funny, too. I also realized I'm speaking fast. Sorry, guys. No, but yes. I speak fast naturally, so I have to slow it down a little bit. No, so I was always like that, and I don't know what my parents' opinion was about this. Like, did they pick up something was wrong? But I didn't pick up something was wrong until, like, middle school. And so in middle school, it doesn't start till 9, so I was always the last one to leave the house. And so I was responsible for, like, making sure everything was shut, making sure the flat iron was unplugged. And I always straightened my hair in middle school. And so it was, I guess it was 7th or 8th grade. I was also in a fight with my mom at the moment over, like, it wasn't even big. I don't even remember what it was about. I'm sure I caught an attitude or mother-daughter things as a middle schooler. But I was also in an argument with her at the moment. So I went to school, and I was like I was already all upset about that, not in the best mood, whatever. So I was sitting in first period, and I think it was science, and yeah, something like that. And I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, did I unplug the flat iron? And I was going through all these scenarios in my head. I was like, oh my God, the house is gonna burn down. Oh my God, I'm gonna kill my dogs. Like freaking out. And I like go up to, I think it was Miss Sands at the time. So, I loved all my middle school science teachers. But I was like, Miss Sands, I need to go see Miss Haywood. And that was our guidance counselor. Miss Haywood already knew who I was. And she was like, what's wrong? Like, clearly this is more than a flat iron. We can call your neighbor to check on it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, also, like, my mom's, like, she's mad at me. And I was like, I hate when my mom's mad at me. I hate when we're arguing. And I think that's natural for anyone. But I just, like, hate when we're in an argument. And so I was, like, all about that. And she had me call my mom. And I was sitting in Miss Haywood's office on the second story of the middle school, like, sobbing. I was like, Mom, I'm so sorry, but I left the flat iron plugged in. And I didn't eventually. So, and it was, like, all manifesting. Like, I was pushing, my frustration or upset, like, just sadness with my mom was, like, manifesting itself as, like, did I unplug the fire iron? Mm-hmm. So my mom took me out to lunch that day. We went to, like, Sunflower, I think. And we just got food and, like, talked it out. But that was, like, the first time. It was an anxiety-based thing. Like, it was, did I unplug the fire iron? My mom's gonna kill me. And my mom it wasn't a deep argument. It was mother-daughter thing. But in my head, I, like, blew it out of proportions. Mm-hmm. And it's always been like that. Then my first thing, I had anxiety. And that was the elementary school thing too. Like, it was always just, I was very anxiety ridden child, and you wouldn't know it from like that, like you wouldn't tell that from who I am externally, because I don't try to make that, like, I'm not a very like quiet, like in the corner, like biting my nails type person, but I mean, as you can see, but it's something that's always been like a part of me, and I didn't realize it until recently. And I always my parents made me go to therapy for the first time in 6th grade, mm-hmm. and I hated it. Hated it. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was, like, gonna get made fun of. Nobody knew about it. Like, I hated it. And it was also, like, the issue with that one, too, was I was 12 at the time. And so I don't think I was, like, honestly mentally mature enough for it. But also I went to, like, a children's therapist. So she had me, like, color out my thoughts, and that's not what I needed.
Oh, yeah.
And so I really needed to talk through stuff, and I needed to, get through that, like, talk about it. And it wasn't really that. And it was, I don't know, not fun. And then, like, my sisters would make fun of me for it, even though it's nothing to make fun of you for. And then I went again to a different therapist in 8th grade and 9th grade. Like, my mom wanted me to get comfortable with going to high school, just knowing how I was with grades.
This was to help with, like, anxiety and fear, like, to help control that with you. Okay.
Yes. So I went in 8th grade, 9th grade, and I put so much pressure on myself as an 8th grader. Well, throughout middle school, but especially, like, going into 9th grade. Mm-hmm. I was like, I need to be top of my class. I need to be taking X, Y, and Z. I'm going to Duke, Harvard, Yale. Like genuinely, not even as a, like, sarcastic way. So it's like, I'm taking these classes. I'm doing these things. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm getting into a good college. And this was as a 13, 14-year-old.
Right.
So that mom was like, dude, calm down. Like, that's not that deep. Freshman year, you're getting used to high school, blah, 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 which no one could have told us 4 years ago. This is what high school would have been like from my bedroom. But, so did that. I still hate it because I didn't realize how important talking about, like, your emotions was. Talking it out and just, like, not keeping it bottled up. And I would talk about my friends, and, like, they would kind of go through similar things, but I don't think they realized how much I, like, built certain things up in my head. And I would put so much pressure on these, like, super small, insignificant things. But, I was, like, I don't know, like, as a 14-year-old, you don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to do that to yourself at any age.
Yeah.
But, so I did that, still hated it, yada, yada, yada. And then fast forward to 11th grade, I'm in therapy now just because I'm a busy bee and I need to sit down and talk to someone. And I love it. This is my 3rd therapist. I've really gone through them. No, I love her. I see her most Mondays. And it's not for anything crazy. It's just, like, you need to sit down, talk about your week, talk about these feelings you're not, pinning up. And she knows more about me than, like, anyone. I think, well, it's funny because my best friend, her mom, is a counselor. And so she's always been, like, the peacemaker in our group. And so I'll kind of tell her some more things I tell my therapist. And she'll give me the exact same advice that my therapist does. She goes, why are you even paying her? Like, pay me. I was like, yeah, I probably should. No, I mean, I don't tell my best friends everything just because, I mean, they don't need to know everything. And I'm sure everyone can relate to that. Yeah. And it's not like I'm keeping secrets from them. It's just, like, I have a therapist. Like, that's who I go to with my problems. And my manager keeps scheduling for work on Mondays, and that's when I go to therapy, and I'm like, dude, like, stop scheduling me for work. And I just told him I can't work on Mondays, but I might need to actually tell him, like, do you have therapy? It might scare them a little bit.
But to be honest and say, listen, this is for
Yeah.
a good reason. I need my check-in.
Yeah, it's not that I'm, like, not doing anything. But, like, also, with that, I'm like, I don't want him to judge me, blah, 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 blah. And so, it's like, I'm here talking about ending a stigma when I'm literally, like, still scared to say it to people myself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I would recommend therapy for everyone. Even if you think you don't have problems, it's nice to, like, spill your guts to someone.
And so that was going to be kind of where I went with this question. You know, this obviously appears that there was a pattern here established with the anxiety and the stress and the pressure you were putting on yourself.
Yes.
And, you know, I can relate to that. And, you know, some people listening can. Those who cannot, you know, God just wires us in different ways. And he wires some of us in this, like, perfectionist zone, and we can't get out of it.
No, yeah.
And so that's where it started with you, was that perfectionism, that drive and the strive to make good grades. You always had college, like, at the forefront of your mind. So the anxiety and that pressure. Do you feel like if somebody is feeling the anxiety and the pressure in any situation, maybe not just with school, that you would recommend them talking to someone?
I mean, even if you're not dealing with that, I would recommend you talk to someone. It's just like, everyone thinks that, like, they have, like, they're fine, but, like, as soon as you start to spill your guts to someone and you're putting, like, the pieces together, like, oh my gosh, like, I have all this going on, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and some people are fine, like, genuinely fine. Yeah, genuine. No, but some people
just
don't
a
need
check-in.
It. Yeah.
Right? So even if you're sitting back and you're listening to this and you're like, I cannot relate to Maggie at all. I've got no problems.
She's crazy.
She is crazy. What Maggie is saying, and what I'm also going to emphasize here, is that just a check-in with somebody that's not a friend, not a parent, just kind of like that partial human in your life.
Yes.
Check in.
Yes.
Talk about what's going on. You may uncover some hidden stresses or some things going on. Yes. But just that check-in is good. So let's normalize therapy. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, then head to Apple Podcasts. You must subscribe to this channel so that you can get all of the other future clips headed your way. And then, of course, share this with your friends so that they can hear all of the good, encouraging, inspiring, and positivity that came from all of these clips that you watched. And leave a comment. I read everything. I'd love for you to tell me what you loved about the episode, what really resonated with you. Maybe you want to talk about the topic a little bit further. Anything you want to say, put it in the comments and let's talk. And then, of course, we can connect further at my website, melissa@melissalynnhunt.com, or my most favorite place to be, Instagram @melissalynnhunt. I cannot wait to talk to you soon.